What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming and the continuation of our Diablo 3 Let's Play series. Firstly, we started off with a Barbarian, and now we will be moving into the Demon Hunter. The Demon Hunter is the range character in Diablo 3. This is going to be, well, exactly what you expect it to be, like a range unit, using bows and crossbows and everything of the like. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. I present to you guys Diablo 3 Beta Demon Hunter Let's Play playthrough. Alright everyone, so before we get started, what I like to do is go ahead and just take a quick overview of the class. So again, the Demon Hunter is the range character in Diablo 3, using bows and crossbows and everything of the like. We'll take a look at the starter abilities as well as the resource system. Now the resource system that's going to be used is actually a dual resource, Hatred and Discipline. The Hatred fuels the offensive abilities, while Discipline fuels kind of the more defensive and utility abilities. And what I mean specifically by that is that you can see here we have things like Vault, Caltrops, Marked for Death, Smokescreen, Companion, and these are all things we'll look into more closely in the future, but that's everything that's going to be utilizing the Discipline. Now, Discipline regenerates much more slowly than Hatred does. Hatred is, again, for those offensive abilities, starting off here with Hungering Arrow. We're spamming that much more frequently than we are Discipline, and that's why having that faster regen is certainly much nicer. Alright, so the starting abilities, we start off with Hungering Arrow. This is going to be our offensive spell to start. Costing 15 Hatred, fires a magical arrow imbued with 140% weapon damage, and has a 50% chance to actually pierce through the enemy. So it'd go straight through and actually move on to another target behind. And then the Discipline ability that we start off with here is Caltrops. Lay a trop of Caltrops on the ground and activates whenever enemies approach, so walk near it. And then once it does activate, it's going to slow up enemies within 12 yards by 50%, and the trap itself lasts 12 seconds. Alright, so those are our starting abilities. This is the Demon Hunter Diablo 3 Beta. Let's play, and let's go ahead and get things cracking here. Head into town and start the beta. So very exciting. Now, I want to let you know, after reading the comments from the first Let's Play video, I did realize on the Barbarian, I didn't really do the greatest of job switching in between abilities as I got them. And that's something I will be doing from this point forward on all additional playthroughs. Now, don't feel like you're going to miss out on the Barbarian skills, because I am going back and I'm making skill-specific videos where we literally just take a look at the skills and kind of highlight them and talk about them. And that's going to be after we finish all these Let's Plays. But just so you guys know, just so you are aware. And look at that, just dropping some snares on the ground, these guys. Not even standing. Much of a chance. Not at all. Pretty easy. Now, there have been some complaints about the resource system for the Demon Hunter, mainly being that you running out of Hatred pretty quickly. Now, they had mentioned there was a blue post recently talking about the fact that they were actually going to be looking at the resource system and trying to tweak it a little bit. So I will be interested to see how that plays out. I do have some stuff in my shared stash from my Barbarian Let's Play playthrough. This is actually, people were asking about the belt. This is the belt that I got at the end of the Barbarian Let's Play, and I'll be using this for my Demon Hunter. So let's go ahead and get some of this sweet gear equipped. I also found a very awesome bow, and we'll take a look at that too. This thing is amazing. And yeah, I'll just show you guys quickly the gear before we continue the Let's Play series. Alright, so starting out, I do have this bow here, 10.5 damage per second, 2 to 4 fire damage, and an increased base experience reward by per kill by +1. I've actually seen a lot of those modifications on various gear that I've found so far in the beta. And then I've got 2 rings equipped. The first one is +3 armor, plus 300% increased cell value, and this one over here, 7% better chance of finding magic items, so a little magic find there, plus health globes granting +5 more health. The hands that I have here are gather health globes and gold from +2 yards, so it's much easier for me to pick up items on the ground. Here's that amazing belt. Regenerates 0.4 life per second, +3 attack, +5 vitality, and then another increased base experience. This one's +1. I got a 0.3 life per second regeneration, and then the chest piece, 17% more gold from monsters, and then gather health globes from +2 yards. So again, going to be easier for me to pick stuff up. But that's a nice little start here for the Demon Hunter. Pretty nice to start out with this gear. Should make the leveling process and the playthrough a little bit easier. So let's Look at that. Piece of cake. All right, let's walk into Leia's room, see if we can find Leia's journal. There it is.
We've been under siege for
a little bit of XP
now.
from that.
Uncle Deckard is still
And pick up Leia's quest. Get a
Get
nice little complete and level 2, just like that. All right, let's see what I'm going to unlock for skills here. Entangling shot, so let us pick that up. And I'm actually just going to replace my my caltrops. I don't really feel like using that right now. I'd rather have 2 offensive abilities right now rather than 1 offensive and 1 snare that I'm not even going to really use. All right, so Entangling Shot releases a sticky adhesive that deals 130% weapon damage and entangles up to 2 enemies, slowing their movement by 50% for 2 seconds. So you see, yeah, I'm going to prefer to just spam these 2. Unless I feel like I'm running into a position where my discipline, my hatred is running out far too quickly, then I might switch back, but I don't know that that's going to be a problem this early on in the game. We'll see though. Alright, so Entangling Shot is nice because it's going to hit multiple enemies, as you can see. If they are nearby, it's going to go bounce from one to the other. The issue, I would say, though, is you can see the damage is lower. Entangling Shot 130%, while Hungering Arrow is 140%, plus the Pierce, which has the opportunity to do that additional damage to a target behind. But having the Snare is good, and I think for groups that are clumped up, you know, having that guaranteed bounce between characters. And this fire damage is pretty baller. It looks like it's tearing these guys up pretty bad. Oh, there's a nice example of the Pierce there too. All right, this is awesome. So let us go find 3 Wretched Mothers and then the Queen. Go ahead and hop into the musty cellar though. See if we can find anything awesome down here. Ooh, yeah. All right. Look at this. Loving this weapon here. A nice thing to start with, most certainly. We got some guys over here too, so I like that. I wonder what the proximity is though for exactly how close someone needs to be for the bounce from that to go from one target to the next. I do wonder that. Got a Wretched Mother over here, sniper from a distance. Oh, in the face, right in the face. That's great. That is beautiful, absolutely fantastic. Alright, so let's go find some more Wretched Mothers. And I didn't see many comments in it. I know that a lot of people are just excited to have the beta footage on the channel finally. But I do want to know what you guys think of the game graphically, how you feel about it. I mentioned it partly through the Barbarian playthrough. I mentioned the fact that there was a lot of kind of griping about the art direction of the game. And now that you guys have like a decent look at the game now, what do you think about it? Do you think it looks good? And I'll just show you really quickly. I am on the highest graphical settings that are available right now. I've got everything maxed out. There's no anti-aliasing at the moment, so we kind of have to wait for that. Do keep in mind we can see it's only high right now as the top available graphics. I'm assuming that's because beta. And I'm assuming because this is a beta, and I'm also assuming that there will be Ultra. Once the game comes out, I'm expecting an Ultra available, so the graphics should be kicked up a notch beyond what you're seeing now. One thing I will mention is in these outdoor areas, like we can see here now, it seems to be that there's a decent amount of kind of fogginess going on. I'm not certain why that was made. I'm sure someone who knows a lot about art. Ooh, evasive fire. Let's take a look at that. I'm sure someone who knows a lot about kind of art in games maybe is able to inform me as to why this is necessary or why they may have decided to kind of do this haze over the outdoor areas. But indoor areas, this doesn't exist, and everything's much more crisp and clear. And I'm just interested. I'm interested to see why they may have chosen to do that. Alright, so we have got now Evasive Fire, cost 5 Hatred, plus an additional 4 Discipline if you backflip. It shoots for 135% weapon damage, so it's a little bit more than the Entangling Shot in terms of damage. And then if I'm within close range, it's going to flip me back 15 yards. That's kind of cool. So why don't I actually replace my Hungering Arrow with that? I'll give that a shot. For when people are getting up in my grill, you can see, look at that, beautiful. So that's going to allow me to kick right back if someone's really close and I kind of don't want to be in that situation. I can just throw a whole bunch of evasive fires down. All right. And see you later. That was nice and simple. Let's take a look at this weapon rack real quick. Nothing there. So time to go back to town. Now that my quest art complete. And Captain Rumford. There you go. pick me up an crossbow. I'm assuming that's going to be nowhere near as good as the one I have, though, and I assumed correctly. So let us go, Leia. Leia. I don't know. Doesn't matter what your name is, does it? Oh my God, so many people are gonna rage. Force, learn to pronounce things correctly. I'll try. I like the kickback. I think that I might just do that just because it's kind of cool. It's just kind of cool to see. People also informed me in the last video that the destructible environments that fall, that can crush AI, can't hurt me. I'm not sure how I feel about that either. I think that that's kind of a cop-out. Like, if it's going to crush the zombies that I'm killing, why would it do 0 damage to me? I feel like it should do some damage. It was logical in my mind to avoid this crumbling wall that's crushing all of the zombies that I'm targeting. So I couldn't, I didn't really understand. It's so cool. Love it. Absolutely love it. All right, and of course I walked right into that giant frost ball, which is something I didn't want to do. And Leia gave me the Cauldron of Jordan. Thank you very much. I'm going to hold on to that for the Witch Doctor, though, and give myself some pants. I don't want to walk around pantsless for too much longer. Adria, why you talk so much? Force, you're kind of talking non-stop there. Shut your mouth. That's what commentary is. You don't like it? You don't like commentary? Yeah, that's another funny thing. People complaining about my commentary. Do you know how many Diablo 3 beta playthroughs are on YouTube? If you don't like the commentary, I strongly suggest, for your own good, to watch any of those. End of story. Now I'm making sure that I provide pretty much the highest quality available. I'm rendering this stuff at full 1080p, and it's looking pretty solid. The outcome from what I've seen is looking really nice. I've had some people comment on it, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to notice that, because you know what? The difference between posting up a 720p and a 1080p video, it's a lot of rendering time. And then on top of that, adding the amount of bitrate. And the bitrate basically gets rid of any kind of the blurriness that you're going to see. Even in 1080p videos, if people render at a low bitrate, it still kind of looks a little crummy. I'm rendering at pretty much one of the highest bitrates that I logically can, and 1080p. So what this means, though, is that there's a lot of rendering time, and rendering time is just where the video is kind of editing itself, and it takes forever the higher quality that you do. And that's actually why I was only able to come out with one Let's Play yesterday, but I'm going to record all morning today, and then I should be able to play through the rest of the Let's Plays throughout the course of the next day or two. But that's enough about that. Sorry, talking about all kinds of random crap. We can now focus on wonderful, glorious, beautiful Diablo. Oh, how beautiful indeed. Let's see if we can find... Ooh, is one of those. Let me pick up a journal or something like that. I'm assuming there's Lochdanon. Lochdanon.
Once the captain of King Leoric's army, I lived only to honor my land and my king. No man has a greater love for his king than I had for mine, even as I drove my blade through his dark and corrupted heart.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Nice story. Lochdanon. I called him Lochdanon in the lore series video that I did. People got angry. I don't know. It looks like Lochdanon. Lochdanon works, though. I suppose Lochdanon works. Who am I to make a judgment call on that? It's not even my game. I didn't make this game. I shouldn't be able to determine how things are pronounced. All right, level 4. Let's see what we pick up now for a new ability. Fan of Knives. Okay. All right. We'll give that a shot, I suppose. You know, given that my weapon is awesome, and I don't believe Fan of Knives is based on weapon damage, I'm not sure it's going to be the best thing to use, but maybe I'll just get rid of Evasive Fire for now, because I really like Entangling Shot. All right, Fan of Knives. Throw knives out and spiral around you, doing 2/2 physical damage. Oh, wow, 2/2. Assumedly, that's going to scale to 2 to some number greater than 2. To all enemies within 10 yards of you. Fan of Knives also is going to provide a snare for 35%, and that lasts 4 seconds. So let us get Fan of Knives. I don't know why I didn't select it. There it is. Let us get Fan of Knives, and yeah. And again, I'm not really sure if it's going to be the best to use for me because my weapon's so strong. I think that using abilities based on weapon damage would make more sense at this point in the game. I'm sure you guys could agree with that. But I'll still play around with it a little bit just to give you guys a nice feel for how it's working. Now, obviously, Fan of Knives is going to be something that you use when you're surrounded. Like, let's say these guys here. Just kind of spam Fan of Knives. Look at how much I've got to do it. I mean, in comparison to the 1 to 2 shots it takes from my weapon. So I don't think that I'm going to continue to use that much at all. It's just not worth it for me right now. My weapon damage is far outscaling the damage of Fan of Knives, and so I should use abilities based on weapon damage. I'm trying to think as logically as possible. It's kind of what I do. Alright, well, I'm going to do it one more time, alright? I'm going to use Fan of Knives once more. I'll go in this group here. Let me just spam Fan of Knives. So I can kind of kite with it, but not really, because I have to be close range to actually hit these things anyways. But, I mean, this is just kind of silly. I mean, come on, look at how long it's taken to kill these stupid-ass zombies. Alright, that's enough of that. I'm sorry, guys. I know you probably love Fan of Knives. It's probably your most favorite ability in the game, but kind of stupid. If it takes about 14 times longer to run this playthrough because of Fan of Knives, then not going to do it. Because talking for an hour straight while trying to concentrate on gameplay is bad enough, as is evidenced by my my huge super fail, like deaths on the Barbarian Let's Play Part 2. That was beautiful, and I got so much trolling because of it, but you know what? This is the internet. Don't care. They just jelly. They are just super jelly. The Orc's Passage. Excellent. You know what? Entangling Shot, you should bounce from barrel to barrel. I'm a little disappointed that you don't. Alright, let's see if I can... I wonder if I can hit these guys from up here. Ah, yes! Oh, yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Entangling Shot bouncing. Just taking out everything. You're welcome, Kane. Mr. Deckard. Let's go ahead and... Yep. It's so cool. That is such a cool ability. It really is. Alright, I got another... I think I just got a bow, but again, one of those things where not nearly as good as what I have, so it doesn't really make sense for me to use it. And we must go to Cathedral Garden, back to town. And now Leia can talk to her uncle. Uncle! You're alive. And I just got level 5. Nice rhyming. Force. Bola shot? Bola shot. Let's take a look at that. Time to go... First we'll do that. First we'll take a look at Bola shot. So, let me switch out and... Here. Bola shot. Bola shot 20 hatred, so this is more expensive than what I've used thus far. You can see 15. The Fan of Knives is only 10 hatred. 20 hatred for Bola shot. This shoots out a bola that wraps itself around the target. After 1 second, the bola detonates, dealing 120% damage to the target, and then 90% damage to enemies within 7 yards of the target. Okay, so the damage, the direct damage to a creature is going to be less than what I'm using currently. You can see the 135%, but I have damage in an area around the target. So what I think, in all honesty, I'll just replace Evasive Fire with this for now. So my single target, I kind of want a single target. Oh, it's not a big deal. It really isn't a big deal. So I'm just going to replace that. So now I've got Entangling and Bola. Now this combination, what I have right now, will be really great for large packs because I've got the bouncing Entangling shot, plus I have the AoE explosion from Bola shot. So big groups of enemies, this kind of skill combination for what I have at this point in the game with only 2 skills available, this is great for kind of my AoE damage right now. Yeah, you could say Fan of Knives, but again, we discussed why Fan of Knives isn't going to work for me, just because the weapon I have necessitates me to use something a little better. All right, so watch that explode and hit his little friend there. So there we go, beautiful. Beautiful. Throw a couple bolas in there, try to get an explosion. The problem is, 7 yards is actually relatively small. So we kind of need close proximity. You see that? That one didn't even hit the guy next to him. So yeah, kind of small range will make it that they really need to be clumped up for this to be effective. So probably just gonna... I'll do a little bit of both Entangling and Bola on her. Now it doesn't seem like the Bola explosion also hurts the target. It only hurts the people around it as far as I can tell. Oh, maybe not. Looks like it does hurt the target. All right. Ooh, Nephilim Cube. Good. So now I can stop selling stuff and start breaking it down. I am just trying to mass break down everything as opposed to selling things, so as to be able to just do some sweet crafting later on for you guys. I want to have just a crap ton of basically materials so that once we do the artisan video and we're looking at the artisan in depth, I can make like everything. That's the hope anyways. That's the plan.
There's a big pack coming this time.
All right, a little bit of both. Try to get some snare and explosion.
The bridge is clear.
That was nice and easy. Look at this guy. Arcane enchant. Oh, I hated arcane enchant on the barb. Oh, that was so frustrating. Did you guys catch wind of how these hydras laced up my barbarian? I did a little research too, and it seems like that's something that pretty much is going around for everybody. Those arcane guys are just unbelievable against melee. Very solid indeed. And the gloves, not better than what I have. So we will continue along here, heading north towards the Cemetery of the Forsaken, and trying to find Hadrig's apprentice. I really haven't spent the time looking for that in my playthrough, or I did play some kind of what is this one? Oh, he's teleporter. Okay. All right. Oh, running out of discipline there. This guy takes a lot of damage. Wow. Teleport appears to be random as well. It seems like I know he just